After finishing second at the first round of the British Two-Stroke Championship on his 15-year-old Honda CR250, Neville Bradshaw continues on his quest. Round 2 takes us to the iconic Hawkstone Park circuit. The South African man of steel will tackle any challenge that lays in his path. Not only will he wage war in the two-stroke class, but Bradshaw will also race as a fill-in rider for the Lombard Suzuki squad in the MX2 category. Measures had to be taken to ensure the fun survives. To prepare for the race and to have some fun during training, Bradshaw decided to buy a 1997 CR125. Why? For the love of two-strokes.
Yeah, as you say, you know, the guy's he's at the front of that championship, so to be able to run his speed and stuff was pretty cool. But I think for sure at Hawkstone, I think it'll be a different story. I think he's going to be a little bit further ahead of us than that. So guys, we're here at Hawkstone Park in Shropshire, famous Hawkstone Park circuit. I'm helping Neil and the boys out. One of their riders is injured, so I'm filling in for him and then doing the two-stroke as well. I think it's going to be a good day. You know, the track's in awesome condition. It's going to rough up quite good already. It's got quite rough during the qualifying session, so I think it should be quite a good day's riding. The hill's pretty sick, you know, like the bike sings all the way up, you know, there's no dead spots in it. And also like with the two-stroke, it seems to take the bumps a lot better up the hill, where the power's a lot different. It's quite cool, you know, like flat out to the top of it, then you chuck it down like 3 gears at the top, where obviously on the four-strokes you only go down one. Yeah, it's quite a cool buzz, you know, and then also coming down with no engine braking, you definitely flow down the hill a lot quicker than you do on the four-stroke. It's going to be a tough day's race, you know, like I don't ride any sand anymore. When I was racing full-time, you know, it wasn't something that I enjoyed doing. I did it because I had to do it training-wise. So I qualified third. My crash was first, and he was like 4 seconds clear at the front. So for sure, I think he's going to be in a race on his own. Then I have had good results here in the past, but where I don't ride sand anymore, it just takes me a while to get into it. But no, I think it's going to be good. You know, I think the start's going to be important. It's quite deep out the gate, so if we can get in the top 5 or 6, I think there'll be some good battling around here, because it seems like from second place till about 8th or 9th, everyone seems pretty close on lap times. Straight away when I went out on my first lap in qualifying, like just smiling the whole time, you know, just the way you can put the bike into the turns, and it's just old school, you know, like just you can keep the bike wide open and even sit into the bumps, and it takes it, you know, pushes you forward really cool, and the buzz is cool, you know, just even when you're doing qualifying and hearing the bikes go around in the sand, it's even better than Canada Hearts, I think. With the whole two-stroke thing in England, everyone's kind of getting behind it, and you know, people are excited for it, and hopefully you can keep that going through the series, and you know, people get a good day's racing and they come back for it, you know. So no, it's been pretty awesome. Yeah, but I did think those days were gone, but it's quite cool, you know, for people to see, and just also to get like an in-depth into like a rider's life is quite cool, you know. Like it's something I enjoy watching on other riders, so quite cool you boys are doing it on me now. It's cool. It's going to be a long day, you know, like MX2 is like a dogfight anyway, so it's going to be a tough motor, and then come straight in from a 30-minute motor in the MX2 class straight to line for a 25-minute two-stroke race. So it's going to be tough, but when I was riding my career, I felt like I got better as the day got on. Obviously I don't have the fitness now that I did then, but you know, it's just riding bikes, you know, like the next 3 weeks I'm pretty stacked with the training school, so if I can ride a lot today, you know, I'll make up for 3 weeks and not riding. that last race was unbelievable. Like, 3 of us going for the win after 20 minutes. I'm so pumped in that race because it was all mental. Like, maybe 4 laps in, I started cramping. Already the 250F motor, I started cramping in my legs and my arms. Yeah, like I thought, right, we had a steady pace going, and I thought it was crash and lead, but it was done. So we had quite a cool race. Me and Mark were going back and forth a little bit. So that was cool. I knew I had to either be Triggered or Moff to get on the podium, and 2 laps to go, I was like, I've done all this work, I'm not going to let a podium go. So managed to get Moff on the last lap over the triple at the back, and I was just absolutely spent, you know. So I'm stoked on that. Just like mentally, I can still get through the motos, you know. Even when the body's not there, the mind can take you a little bit. So that was quite sick, and I think we crossed the line within a second, the front 3, you know. So that's kind of like what I was hoping on the 2-stroke racing. Canada Hearts wasn't so much like that, but that was just savage, you know. I can't wait to see some GoPro stuff back. It was an awesome race. Again, like the feeling, I'm not really racing for results anymore. I'm racing for that feeling, and man, that feeling is there for sure.
It was a crazy last race. I think I came out the gate maybe in about 8th place. There was James Dunn, Mike Crass, Matt Moffat and Neville Bradshaw all going for the win. And I shadowed them for a little bit, sat behind them, and Mike Crass has some really good lines in the sand. Obviously he's a great sand rider. Managed to sit on the back of him, and yeah, just made a charge. I had a few better lines than some of those guys, and pretty much on the last lap there was 4 of us that could have won it. There was Neville going for it, and Matt and myself, and obviously Mike. Managed to get past Moff and past Nev, and yeah, got on the back of Mike, and I thought I could have passed him on the last lap, but not quite. Maybe next time, maybe at Blacksall.
Hawkstone was pretty good, you know. Obviously going into it, you know, people that have followed my career know like I'm not a big fan of riding in sand. So naturally, you know, now I ride for fun. It's not something I'm going to go practice. It had been so long since I've ridden sand, so I didn't kind of know what to expect. But no, it was alright, you know, qualified 3rd. A lot of those guys are away practicing in Holland, and a lot of good sand riders, you know, that have been practicing through the off season. So I thought 3rd was okay. And then the first moto, I got maybe 6 or 7 on the first lap, and I came through to 3rd quite quick. Maybe like 2 laps in, I'm found my way into 3rd. And then I could see Mark and Lewis were in front of me. Halfway through, I got quite a good rhythm going. I started catching them up every lap, but my bike was detonating so bad, like so bad. Like going up the hill and stuff, and you just hear it like it knocking so hard. So I was like, I didn't really know what to do, whether to push. I was kind of also thinking if it shits itself around the back of the track, maybe I'm not going to make it back for the MX2 race. So I thought, try see it through, like 3rd in the first race won't be so bad, to try get like a decent overall. Finished that 1-3 in 3rd, but knew, you know, like my speed was good, like because I was coming onto those guys in the middle when I had a couple of good laps and I pushed hard. Yeah, the last race was so awesome. Mainly because I was on the starting line, and already in the 250F race my arms were cramping, and I was getting spasms in my legs, so I was pretty much sat in the line thinking, geez, what am I doing, you know, like doing 4 motos in a day, and didn't get the best start. I think I was about 4th, came through pretty good in the first lap, and Moff was just wild. Like, Moff was on it, you know, and I was thinking, fair play, dude. Like, if you can go 20 minutes like that, fair play to you. But you could see like he has something inside of him. He was going hard in that moto, you know. James Dunn was in the front, and I knew obviously he hadn't been riding a heap, so I didn't think his fitness would be there, so I wasn't that stressed on that. And then we kind of came through, had a good race on Mark Crass coming through. He passed me a couple of times, I passed him back a couple of times, so that was quite cool. Like, it was intense racing. 3 laps in, I was actually thinking, oh, I'm going to jack this in, you know. Like, every time I was going into a left-hand turn, my left-hand leg was cramping, and I'd have to get up on the pegs to make the cramps go away. So I was thinking, nah, I'm going to jack this in. And then I thought, let me go a couple more laps, and I think luckily it was such an intense battle, it kind of took my mind away from that, and we were just thinking about the battle. And we were going backwards and forwards quite a bit in that moto. Like, awesome race, like something that was so cool to be a part of. Crash got into the lead, and then Trickett was going awesome. Trickett came from like quite far back and passed us all. So I was racing Moff thinking I got to pass Moff to get on the podium, and then Trickett passed me as well. I was thinking, you know, it's a lot, like 2 hours riding around Hawkstone. You at least want to get a podium and a bit of bonus money out of it. So last lap, everyone came back together again. It was insane, you know. There was like 4 of us pretty much going for the win. Just pulled the trigger, had a cool line, just scarred a tabletop and passed them off. The 4 of us were in 4 seconds. Top 4 within 4 seconds at the end of a moto around Hawkstone Park. So I thought that was cool. I think that's more like the racing people wanted to see, you know. At Canada Hearts, I thought the 2-stroke race would be a bit closer, But a motor like that is just typical of a two-stroke race, you know. Like, I was pretty stoked. Third again, showed we had speed again in conditions I don't like, so really looking forward to the next two. You know, they're more my sort of style tracks, and now we know where we are. Like, everyone's pretty close. I think I'm going to give a good effort in that. The feeling you get on a two-stroke, like when I got back on the two-stroke, was just, you got a lot more safer feeling on the bike. Like, you can push the bike a lot harder and the bike reacts to the bumps a lot better. So I think that gives everyone a little bit more confidence to push, and that's why people get close together. It's fun at the end of the day, you know, like, everyone's having fun. Like Mark Kress is the world champion for the MX 300 class, you know, and you're battling with those guys on a 2.5 grand bike with tyres from the first round, and you know, it's just racing. I think it's more like of a pure racing, kind of like the money aspect of it comes out of it, how good your bike is, how much you've been able to practice in the week, and it goes back more to like a natural talent of people that can ride motorbikes good, you know. But it's awesome, you know, like anytime you get in a battle like that, and especially with a guy like Moff, you could see Moff had something to prove in that motor. Like, he was going hard, you know. Like, I've watched Moff ride in the sand a few times, and he's quite impressive in the sand, but man, like that first lap passing out of me, it was just like, you know, shit or bust, you know. I really admire that in someone that takes their brain out and they're really going hard for it. And then Trickett was on and came from the back. And to be fair, like, a race like that stays so much more longer in your memory than an awesome race where it's just a breeze, you know. Like, you really have to dig deep to even get through a race like that, never mind make a last lap pass to get on the podium, you know. Like, I think it goes a long way for a man's character doing stuff like that. And, you know, I was just so pumped when it was over, you know. Like, counting, I looked up and it was like still 7 minutes to go, and I was like, wow, that's going to be hard. But as I say, I was lucky, like, we were having such an intense battle, it kind of takes your mind somewhere else. Even though I don't race all the time anymore, and it's just a fun thing, like, you still, as soon as somebody passes you, something flicks and you just kind of go like, you know, all you concentrate on is either getting them back or staying with them. It's something special you don't get anywhere else other than riding motorbikes, which is quite cool. It's unreal, dude. Like, you finish a race, you've never been so tired, you can hardly even speak, but that accomplishment feeling, like, fair play. There was 3 of us, there was 4 of us in that battle, you know. Everyone went all in that. Like, you saw everyone on the podium, they were pretty much done, you know. And that, just that feeling of accomplishment, and, you know, take yourself to that absolute limit. It's something I didn't appreciate when I was racing. A lot of people said, oh, I really appreciate the moment. You don't kind of know what they mean by it, but when you come into the real world a little more and you race a lot less, you find you're searching for that feeling a lot more in life, you know. I think it was after Canada Heights. Just after Canada Heights, I saw it come up on eBay. I was looking at 125s. Like, also, when I wanted to go club racing, it would be cool to go MX2 and a 125. It would be a cool battle and stuff. And my brother-in-law, he's got a Husqvarna 125, and it would be cool to go race him and see where everything was at and stuff. And then that bike came up, and I was like, Jeremy McGrath is like my ultimate hero racing a motorbike, and it just looked like his bike. And when you're growing up as a kid, that's all you wanted to be, was a guy like Jeremy McGrath. So I was like, that could actually be pretty fun, you know. Also, like, a funny thing about it is, when I went from 80cc to 125s, one of my private sponsors lent me a 97 CR125. So that was the first ever 125 I rode that for about 3 months. So I thought that would also be cool to have a bike that was your first ever big bike from mini bikes. Dude, I did a race at Portsmouth in the MX2 class, and it's probably, like, you know, one of the most fun races I've ever had in my life. It's just unbelievable, the feeling you get from riding a little 125 like that, you know, and going up against the MX2 bikes, and how hard you have to work for it. It's just such a sick feeling, and it just really, really reminds me of growing up and, like, just searching for that good feeling on a motorbike, you know. I was actually really surprised in the power of it. I honestly thought going to that race at Portsmouth, like, you'd be like mid-pack, like the bike would have had nothing, and the first time I rode it, I ran it in, and I opened it up once, and I was like, wow, like, that is, you know, for a, what is it, like a 20-year-old bike, it's definitely got some game, eh? Are you addicted to two-strokes? The feeling I get when I ride them is so natural. Like I cannot ride for a long time and I can jump on a two-stroke and straight away get back to like a decent pace, where you get back on a four-stroke and it takes you a while to get back into that rhythm. I just enjoy it, you know, like I love it, you know, like riding 1 to 5 is awesome. It's good fun, like people dig it, people like you seeing coming through a pack, they like to hear a bike singing. Then riding the 250 two-stroke, like, dude, I bought like a 2,500 pound motorbike. You know, I've run the same tyres for 2 weekends. It hasn't had a piston. All I did between Canada Hearts and Hawkstone was wash it and put a filter in it. And you can run top 3 in like quite a high championship, you know, like, where else can you do that, you know? You can race against world-class people on a 2.5 grand bike, you know, like, for sure you're not gonna do that on a 4-stroke. It makes like the average guy able to race, which I think is really cool, you know, like, if you look at Canada Hearts, there was a lot of people in that race that used to race a while back, and then obviously the financial side of it just got to the guys. You know, to run top 20 in a British Championship in the MX2, MX1 class, you got to be spending a lot of money, you know, so it was very cool to see that caliber of rider, you know, good riders come back into it because first of all they enjoy it, and second of all they can afford to do it, you know, so I think that's really cool.